I should be building an army, not drinking pinecone juice with a crazy plant lady. Mummy's gonna need a new pair of stilettos. Welcome to Legends of Gotham, where we talk about Fox's hit series Gotham, set in the world of Batman. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone.
And we are back for week 2 of the third time
chunk of season 3.
3, yes. 233. That's all you have to remember this episode, which is also number 94
of ours.
And it was episode 16 of Gotham.
Yep.
But 223. That's the magic number. Actually, 3 times 3 times 2. No, that's
math.
18.
No
never
math.
mind.
No math.
Never mind. But welcome, guys. We are here, as always, live, coming to you Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. EST at twitch.tv/universebox with our chat room. Right now we have Lone Wolf Pack and Win in there. I'm sure a couple people will filter in there. They usually do after we get started. About 3 minutes late on average. So if you come there at 8:30 and we're not started yet, just give it about 2 minutes, and I think you'll be okay. But Anne-Marie, a lot to talk about this week. It was
so many things.
It was a very packed episode. Like it surprised me how full it felt. Like last night and today when I was rewatching, I got about halfway through the episode and I was like, let me check and see how much time's left. Maybe 10 minutes? No, halfway through the episode. Like there's still a whole other half of Gotham to process.
It's amazing how much more they could fit in. And it actually felt like things moved on every platform, which was lovely.
Yes. And as Lone Wolf Pack 04 says in the chat room, so much blood.
There's been more blood though. This amount of blood didn't actually faze me.
And a very healthy decapitation
what has happened to me that this amount of blood did not faze me?
Ha Gotham.
Gotham.
Also, the Powell family's in the chat room. How's it going?
Hi.
Okay, so I guess we should get started talking about this episode. But first, why don't you regale us, Anne-Marie, with the Riddling rhyming episode summary?
As soon as she said that, I had to yawn. Okay, does Penguin have anybody that he can trust? His friendship with Gabe gets ground into dust. Can Bruce Wayne leave the alley behind him? He's reliving his past until somebody finds him. Is Frank a rat? Depends on the moment. Will Jim join the court to even the quotient? Will a mysterious weapon leave violent impressions? Gotham runs these delicate and dark obsessions.
These delicate and dark obsessions. Anne-Marie, what'd you think?
I thought the episode was good. I don't know what you just did, though.
That
freaked me out.
I have obsessions that are both delicate and dark.
Dark.
By the way, speaking of the past couple weeks on Gotham, we do these lower thirds on the video version of the show, which you can get at youtube.universebox.com.
FYI.
But, generally, I think it's like a 26-point font for the episode title. I've had to shrink it down 2 weeks in a row now. So they're
getting very lengthy.
Yeah. I have a feeling that the episode title for the penultimate episode this season is going to be the entire script for the the season finale episode. You okay over there?
I just spilled my cup up because my spoon got stuck to the magnet that's holding up my thing.
Also, we both have some Gotham-themed coffee mugs. I'm the Riddler. You're the Penguin. Together, we are Nigmobblepot.
We are Nigmobblepot.
We are Nigmobblepot.
Thank you again, Rebecca Johnson.
No, but I really like this episode too. Like I said, it was very, very packed, but very, very. We've been waiting for this, right? Everyone's been waiting for this.
I'm still waiting
for Uncle Frank to kill himself. Everybody has been waiting for it. We finally saw it in this week's episode. He'll be back, maybe. I don't know.
Probably not.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get to my first main point here, and I have titled this 3 Freaking Freaks. 3 Freaking Freaks. Now, while Ed has been getting the share of self-actualization this season and last season, really the whole series, I think Penguin admits some things to himself about himself in this episode. I think he's getting another level of self-actualization, namely that he's a freak, and that's okay. And that's probably the best place he can be right now.
In the land of freaks, yeah.
Yeah. Now, there are 3 freaking freaks mentioned in this episode that I wanted to document here. Number 1, Penguin calls Ivy a freak early on in the episode, right before she goes to call Gabe. He's being very judgy towards her. He's like, that freak. Looking down on her quirks while focusing on his own plans to reclaim power. He's very self-focused. I need to get out there and reclaim my kingdom. And this freak's just getting in my way. She's talking to plants. She's giving me pine cone juice, all this kind of stuff. Okay, mention number 2 of freaks. Gabe calls Penguin a freak after he's exposed as a betrayer, after Gabe is. Right. This sends Penguin into a murderous rage, and ultimately leads to Gabe's death. I think this is because Penguin doesn't want to admit to himself that he's an even bigger freak than Ivy. And it also hurts because he thought Gabe and the rest of the underworld respected him. It turns out they looked down on him, just like he looked down on Ivy earlier in the episode. And the third freaking freak in this episode was Ivy suggests at the end of the episode building an army of freaks using Selena's friends from Indian Hill. Now, Penguin...
They weren't Selena's friends. They were just characters Selena had told Ivy about.
Her associates, we'll say.
She had one associate.
But Penguin... after the suggestion, he's like, what kind of freaks? He's finally ready to admit that freaks are his people and exactly what he needs to reclaim Gotham from Barbara Queen. Is that going to be her real new name now? Is that her new character name?
Only if I'm lucky.
And company. He starts off looking down on freaks like Ivy, but by the end of the episode, he realizes that becoming king of the freaks can actually help him achieve his goals in becoming king of Gotham again, while bringing some serious firepower to the table. So a lot of freakishness in this episode for sure.
Over in the chat room, Lone Wolfpack points out, I thought it was a nice callback when Gabe talked about Penguin holding Fish's umbrella, maybe foreshadowing her return. Well, we do know she's coming.
Definitely.
But when? Where is the fish?
Sing me a song, the Umbrella Boy. I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah, and Wynn says all those scenes were like a Wayne family shooting gallery. I'm not sure what that's referencing, but I believe you.
I'll buy it.
Yeah, because I saw it pop up there right as I started on my point, and I forget what we were talking about beforehand.
I have no idea.
My point was really long.
It was.
Freaking freaks.
So my point now. I have many questions about the court of... this is when being an obsessive owl person, like I'm wearing an owl shirt too. And there's Hedwig over with Billiam. So Catherine mentions that the head of the court wants a unanimous vote to proceed, which leads me to, I thought she was the head of the court. Apparently not.
Yeah.
So
do you think she said she called for an anonymous vote? Is that why there were
unanimous?
Oh, unanimous. I thought she's
completely different thing.
Yeah, I thought she said anonymous, and I was like, oh, is that why they're wearing the mask? They're not very Heidi kind of mask.
Yeah, no, it was anonymous, and Uncle Frank was the last one to lower his feather in agreement, which was a weird voting thing. Even
well, they're
for
owls.
An
what
owl
do you
person.
expect?
So if it isn't her, who is it? Like, I have no idea. Except this slight idea of, I think that it could be the shaman that is training Bruce. He said that the court was only a tool towards getting Bruce to him and training him. Because even when Bruce confronts him and says, do you work for the Court of Us? It's like, the Court of Us is just like, it's just a little piece. So I feel like the shaman is way more in charge than Catherine and the rest of the court in the smelly owl masks.
So, well, I mean, the shaman mentions too that, like, they've been trying, him and the court together have been trying to save Gotham for years and years. So do you think
we have a lot more on that?
Do you think maybe the shaman and maybe the league he might be associated with, he built the court to try and manipulate Gotham?
I have no idea because you are talking about comic things and you know better than to do that to me. So bad Bill.
No, I'm honestly, I know a bit about the Court of Owls and about, a certain league that shaman might be associated with.
Yes, you keep saying that. But there.
I'm kind of taking it as, Earth G, this could be any configuration here, I wouldn't be surprised if, Galavan's crew might reconnect, because they have that whole history with the Canes and everything else. So, I mean, I would not be surprised if they weren't connected somehow to, the goings on in Gotham that they are discussed in this episode.
That sort of goes to the second half of my point that I was trying to get to. So it was mentioned multiple times by multiple characters that the court has cleansed Gotham twice before, as you had said, which leads me to who, when, how, what? How did that happen? All we get is the specifics, and that sort of goes back to what you were saying with the Galavans and the Waynes and like the 5 families of Gotham. Maybe they were, obviously they were in charge of it and all of that type of thing. But when did it happen? Twice. Like, how long has the court been around? Has it been since I think it was a hand cutting off thing?
Yeah.
And then did it happen like again?
Yeah, I think that was like the 1800s, maybe.
I want to say it was actually older than that.
Yeah, maybe.
A little bit. The outfits really give away.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
The Powell family, it brings to mind like maybe the Great Chicago Fire. You know, maybe that's
like
the
that.
sort of cleansing that they're talking about.
See, that's the word cleansing was thrown around a lot in this episode. It makes me a little antsy.
The Powell family also says that Ra's al Ghul, but I don't believe the shaman was Ra's al Ghul. I believe Ra's al Ghul is coming, played by a different actor, so that's how we know the shaman's not he. But what do you think about because Falcone in this week's episode he's like I forget what the exact quote is. It's something like everybody does the court's bidding, only some of us know it.
Right.
What do you think? Maybe why does he get a free pass from being directly connected to the court? Because I mean he fits the profile of somebody who would be.
Does he?
Locked into the court like that.
He may or he may not, because the court still confuses me as to whether they are the good guys or the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe with the court has a lineage thing. You must be related,
or like from the old families of Gotham.
Right. You
like
may
the
have to.
Canes
You
and
may
the
have to be a
Gallivants.
descendant of those 5 families, because it's Jim's uncles, though. So the Gordons, I don't imagine, were part of those families.
Well, they could be related somehow, yeah.
So and that would make sense why they want Bruce involved. But how do they pick Bruce to be? Why does he have to be the one who heals the city? More on that later. But still, like, these are the types of questions. It's like I as many answers as there was 3 times as many questions.
Let's see. Lone Wolf Pack says, I don't sense that Falcone would be loyal enough to be a court member.
He's loyal to himself.
I can definitely see like early days of Falcone, them trying to bring him in and him shutting it down, and they come to an understanding.
But you don't say no to the court.
Yeah, that too.
You get.
They're very powerful. And the Powell family in the chat room clarifies. I know she was saying that Ra's al Ghul was the real leader of the court. And then Bobby Hawk mentions that Alexander Siddig is going to be the person playing Ra's al Ghul. Spoilers! But that casting announcement was made months and months ago. So, yeah. And plus, I don't think that after this week's episode, if you know anything about Ra's al Ghul, if you know enough about him to know that that name is familiar when you hear it, then I don't think you'd be surprised after this week's episode.
I think that's all I know about it, is that the name is familiar.
Oh, really? Wait, have you ever seen Batman Begins?
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
Do you know how old's that movie? How old's that movie?
A while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, been a while.
We're just gonna do that a lot tonight.
Okay, so
welcome, Cosmic Commotion.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the opposite of fear. This is mainly concerning what we've been talking about, really. Bruce's scene with the shaman, or scenes with the shaman. There's a lot to unpack in the training scenes, but one thing really stuck out to me. We're to infer that the shaman's goal is to turn Bruce into Batman, but something tells me this might not quite be the case. I think it might lead to Bruce being Batman, but I don't think that's what the shaman is trying to do. Batman, as the legend goes, chooses a bat as his symbol because criminals are a superstitious and cowardly lot. Yet the shaman suggests that Bruce needs to become a symbol against fear, where Batman is a symbol that brings fear. The shaman says that Bruce needs to become a symbol that counters fear. The shaman and the court want Bruce to become the opposite of something scary, but we know, we all know, that he becomes a symbol that strikes fear into the hearts of evil men. We also know that Bruce in his adult life is never able to truly let go of that night in the alley. Right. I mean, that's his obsession. That's why he does what he does. It's what drives him to be Batman. So my guess, I think Bruce will learn some kick-ass fighting skills while at the compound, but ultimately he's going to reject the court's plans for him, veering off into the exact opposite direction, the opposite of fear. I think he's going to become this, this Batman, this man-bat.
Man-Bat was in Batman v Superman.
But I feel like, it's possible that maybe the court's trying to save Gotham by turning Bruce into a hero of light to combat the darkness.
Okay.
And if so, I think it'll be interesting to see why he chooses a different path, why he decides that darkness is the only thing that can defeat darkness.
Okay.
You know, kind of interesting stuff there. But what do you think?
Maybe. I was rearranging some points because I had stuff relevant to this later on. So I was like, wait, this could go here. Let me go with, okay, the court's weapon, which is sort of along what you were talking about. I think that Bruce is actually the weapon. Oh, and not the crate. I guess I did mention the crate. Being on the docks was something completely different. Mm-hmm. You know, like a decoy type of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it was testing to see if Uncle Frank knew what was going on.
Yeah, I had that in my notes too. Is the
this
weapon?
Is what we do a lot.
Is the weapon literal or metaphorical?
Yeah. So the shaman talks about how Bruce needs to get his head out of the alley and become a symbol against fear and to be a protector. Obviously, he's basically telling him to become Batman. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of similar yet different of what you were saying, because you were saying that it was making him not be Batman, and I interpreted it as you are now the Batman. Mm-hmm. Not directly, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that the court is planning to begin its cleansing of Gotham, and then it will unleash Bruce to start to heal things. But how are they planning on cleansing the city? And what exactly can Bruce to clean up, and how?
It's definitely an interesting theory, and you know, we saw a box that said Indian Hill on Dock 9C, but by the same token, we don't know that was actually the weapon. I mean, because they were expecting the weapon to come later, right? So maybe that is right. Maybe that's
a decoy.
Bruce coming in. Yeah,
that's how I've sort of interpreted this whole weapon thing. The whole time is that Bruce is the weapon.
Yeah.
Because why would they go through so much trouble for him if he wasn't going to be the weapon? Mm-hmm. Though I don't know about the Dock 9C. I have thoughts on that in a little bit.
The Powell family over in the chat room says the shaman is the Ken Watanabe of Gotham, which if you've seen Batman Begins, there's Ken Watanabe plays this very Middle Eastern sort of shaman who says he's Ra's al Ghul, and then you find out it's Liam Neeson.
I don't think his character might have been different.
And let's see, Lone Wolf Pack 04 says, but Batman is a source of fear to villains, but I think regular citizens of Gotham see him as a symbol of hope, though. See, I disagree with that. Maybe back in his, deputized policeman, don't jaywalk Robin kind of days, they definitely probably saw him as a symbol of hope, but in most interpretations these days, he's more of an urban legend. He's the boogeyman your parents tell you about. And I mean, it works for criminals, but regular people aren't necessarily not scared. Like, look at that scene in Batman v Superman when he goes to save those people in that jail cell, and they terrified. They're completely freaked out by him. And that's kind of...
Well, he was pretty dark.
But I mean, that's kind of how most people, I think, see Batman, if they believe in him at all. But let's see. Bobby Hawk says, I thought the same thing as Bill. Even as Batman, he's never left that alley. Very true. And then he suggests, what if Jerome is the weapon?
To which Casa Commotion says, what if Jerome was the weapon gone wrong?
Gone wrong. I like that. I like
that he was meant to be and then it went wrong. And I like that connection because we know that, Bruce and Jerome will always have quite the connection. And that makes it even more intense.
Yeah, and if I'm completely wrong and Bruce is going to end up as this, hero of light, then, it makes sense for Jerome to be the weapon that he's fighting too. A lot. Okay, so we're going to get back to the main discussion in just a second. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to our $5 star patrons who are supporting us $5 or more a month over at patreon.com/universebox. Becca Baca, Harry Seidler, Angel, Monica Jones, Other Anne Marie, Casa Commotion, Sage of Earth, a.k.a. Patty, Jacob Newman, Robert Cadler, Hope Mullinax, Jessica Gonzalez, and Patrick Cohn. You guys are all awesome. We love you. Only 1 month left to be in the $5 star patrons club because we're going to shut down the Patreon after we wrap up this season of Gotham. So if you want to throw us a couple shekels, give us a beer for the last episode or something, go over to patreon.com/universebox.
Give me the beers.
And remember to think outside. Okay, let's see here. Before we get back to the main discussion here, sometimes we like to play a voicemail in the middle of the episode, so we're going to do it right now. Take it away.
Hello, Legends of Gotham.
Hey.
This is Elaine Mooney from Cosmic Commotion.
Howdy.
And this is Dean Oswald Cobblepot from Cosmic Commotion.
Get them both.
And you get the pleasure of getting both of us on this voicemail.
Yes.
We just wanted to make some quick pointers that we noticed on tonight's episode. First of all, bravo to Ivy. She really stepped up this week and showed us what she can truly do. What do you want to add?
I want to go on record saying that I knew that Uncle Frank was going to cap himself at least a minute before it happened.
Well, that being said, this week's episode was a really excellent example of Ben McKenzie's direction, and we look forward to seeing more episodes directed by Ben McKenzie. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
It was stressful, and we need a drink now.
All right, guys. Look forward to hearing you guys tomorrow night. Take care. Bye.
Thank you both. I
Love
see you
it.
both in the chat room there. Thank you very much.
Yay.
And I hope you enjoyed that drink. We all needed it.
We do.
We all definitely needed it. Also, over in the chat room, Lone Wolf Pack 04 says, things can go wrong with your when your face gets snatched off and thrown on the ground. Classic advice. Always good to hear.
Always good, yes.
Okay, now let's be frank. Because
but I'd like to be Anne Marie.
No, let's be frank.
But I don't want to be Frank.
Well, let's be frank.
Okay.
There's one less Frank in the world.
I'm Frank.
There's one less Frank in the world. We have to step in and take his place.
Okay.
No, I want to talk about Frank a little bit just because the past couple episodes, I've constantly been torn by this character because I'm constantly, and I when we live tweeted the episode last night, I was kind of like, do we trust him? Do we not trust him? Is he trying to help Jim? Is he trying to hurt Jim? And he just keeps me guessing. I have no idea where his real loyalties lie, not even now, because after he offed himself in the episode last night, I was like, oh, okay, we're finally clear. He's trying to dismantle the court. Why would he kill himself if he wasn't trying to dismantle the court?
Right.
But then I remembered a couple things. Number one, Jim joining the court was something Frank promised Catherine a couple episodes ago that he would make that happen. Mm-hmm. Even if it's a plan to take them down, he certainly delivered. I mean, Jim, by all accounts, by that little tease we see at the end of the episode, he's going to be joining the court in one way or the other.
That's crazy.
And I also thought it was interesting to note that Catherine wasn't surprised that Jim survived. I think it's because she says...
I think it was the plan.
Well, she says to Frank in the room before he goes to kill Jim or kill himself or whatever, she says, you know what must be done. And there's kind of a hint of subtext there that maybe they're saying something that the rest of the room isn't hearing, if you get my meaning. She says it almost ominously to Frank, almost as if they've discussed the suicide beforehand as a way to get Jim to join the court, as a way to manipulate him into it. Maybe. Which also got me thinking, the Court of Owls in the comics, and we've seen them in Gotham, the Talons, the Kato from the Green Hornet guys, the assassins, the guy who decapitated someone this episode. They are actually reanimated dead people. So I think there's a possibility, maybe Frank could come back from this. Well, maybe he could come back to be Jim's final battle, at the end of the season or something, as a Talon.
But see, all the Talons that we've seen, and we've now seen 2 or 3 of them, they were tall, thin, svelte men with clean-cut hair and not very distinct faces, little round faces.
Yeah.
Like... Uncle Frank don't fit the profile. So unless he's getting some plastic surgery when he's reanimated, he doesn't quite fit
but I mean,
profile.
They're not like exactly, a clone army or something like that. They're in the comics, they're warriors that are tapped by the court, killed by the court, held in a coffin underground, and then reanimated as the court needs them to carry out their bidding. So I think if nothing else, just because Frank has been associated with the court for so long, if he's lying to Jim about this, if this is all a big plan, I could totally see that being the way he comes back, and why it was so easy for him to kill himself. Because, I mean, it didn't seem like it took a lot of thought, or there was a lot of apprehension, or like,
not at all.
I don't want to do this, but I have to because Jim needs to do the thing and this and that and the other. It was just like, be cool. There was no chance for a second thought. Yeah, so that's my prediction that might happen.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe.
So you wanted to talk about Bruce a little more, right?
Okay, so this has been like bugging me a little. Like, where exactly is Bruce? Like, we all saw the snow-covered mountains, and isn't that lovely? But personally, I think he's still in Gotham, or at least not very far away from Gotham. I think he's close because based on how the shaman was able to transport Bruce into the alley with those weird acupuncture needles and whatever juju was coming off of them, I think that there's something similar going on within the prison, for lack of a better word. I think that he is in more of a mind prison than a physical prison. And that maybe there is some like smoke or gas or something in the air making him think that he is in these mountains and trapped, because he ran in circles and got nowhere. It feels too convenient to be off like far away.
Yeah.
And it feels almost too dangerous to be far away.
That completely matches my crazy theory that I was going to talk about in a little bit, but I'll talk about now.
Yes. I never match the crazy theories.
Like I'm also thinking that maybe Bruce is currently in the Mind Palace reality the entire episode. It would explain the weird hallway maze and the accompanying metaphor, and it would maybe even explain the fact that Bruce's lip was bleeding when he came back out of it the second time, because by all rights that probably shouldn't happen. Maybe if he had like a seizure or a heart attack or something in the dream,
like from the nose or something.
Yeah. So I definitely agree with you there. For sure. Casa Commotion over in the chat room says that she thinks Uncle Frank was eaten up with guilt and that he felt like he had to do it to avenge his brother. And then the Powell family says, wasn't Hugo Strange's big mission discovering how to bring people back from the dead? Wasn't that what Catherine was threatening Strange about? Exactly. So it would make a lot of sense for Frank to come back as
a
Italian.
And they always came back with like crazy physical freak powers.
Yeah, and then Bobby Hawk in the chat room was like, what if it's all in his head? And then get out of my head, Bill, because as usual, we have very lateral thinking.
So I look forward to Bobby's voicemail and hearing what Bill has already said.
Yeah, the nice thing about Bobby's voicemail is they're a nice 3-minute compact summary of all my main points from the episode. Let's see. I don't know what they said should be the name of the episode tonight. And should be yes, true. And should be. I don't know what the name of the episode should be. Head? Yeah, maybe, possibly. Mind Palace, something like that.
I like Mind Palace.
Okay, but while we're on this topic, though, I'll go ahead and switch gears by staying in the same gear. I want to talk about the crime alley redux scenes in the episode. Okay. You have to hand it to the production and editing team this episode concerning those Mind Palace flashbacks to the pilot. I believe there's some dialogue in those scenes, actually, that we never get in the pilot, which made it feel as if this scene was shot specifically for this episode way back when, and it was this great big plan.
And there's no way.
Even though it probably wasn't. It was probably just, left on the cutting room floor, and they decided to repurpose it for this episode, which I thought was really cool. And added a layer of, this is an original thing that's for this episode instead of, sort of
not.
Spit and spackle, trying to get it to work. And they did a lot of really tricky camera work here and, angles and things like that.
Yeah.
But I did notice that young Bruce and modern Bruce never appear in the same shot. Well, there might be one where they're kind of like shadows off in the distance behind Bruce, but I think that's about it, which was probably shot in front of a green screen or something like that. But I'm pretty sure they did bring back the actors who played Thomas and Martha Wayne for a few key shots, because there's one shot where I believe it's Thomas and Martha, and Thomas is about to get shot, and then you see Bruce standing behind them, right in between them, and then Thomas falls back, and the shadow hits Bruce a little bit. So I think they brought back the actor to shoot just a couple.
You watched that
scenes
very closely, didn't you?
Yeah, because I thought it was really kind of neat, and I wanted to kind of pick it apart a little bit and see if I had thought to ask John Stevens or somebody, but I then again, he didn't direct the episode, so he might not know. He might not have been on set. But, it's just very, very cool. And trivia, I thought I'd point out, speaking of the acupuncture needles that bring Bruce to that Mind Palace place, someone online, I'm not going to claim credit for this, but they went and they looked, and those are Sanskrit symbols that mean fear and happiness, which I thought was kind of interesting. So, I
was wondering what those were.
It kind of ties thematically into what the shaman is trying to get Bruce to do. He's trying to, get Bruce to dispel fear by finding his happiness again. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Let's see. Over in the chat room.
Mind Palace.
Mind Palace for the episode title. Anything else interesting over there?
Let's see. Cosmic Motion's asking if the actress who played Martha Wayne was the same one who plays Lucifer's mom. I'm assuming you mean on Lucifer, and I have no idea because
we don't watch Lucifer
very quickly. He drives me nuts.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm so happy that my crazy theory was the same as your crazy
theory.
Yeah.
High five.
That never happens.
We didn't high five to where. We just high fived.
Woo! That was totally my hand.
Haha, Gotham.
Gotham.
Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so your turn.
My turn.
I'm gonna sit here and be quiet.
Hashtag Pivy. That's right. I'm going with Pivy. Just gonna say it. I love Penguin and Ivy. Sure, see, you're not saying anything, but you're still distracting. Sure, he underestimated her in the beginning and was completely annoyed at the thought of her just wanting a friend. But Ivy came through, and Ivy is going to be the one to help him build an army of freaks. Yes. I know that the fancy schmancy suit is the classic look for a Penguin, though. But maybe, just maybe, he needs to stick to the grandpa sweaters until he gets his stuff together.
Yeah, that sweater was very nice. Definitely.
I love the sweater. I loved her pushing him out, like taking care of him like a little nursemaid. It was so precious.
I really loved Ivy, how they, she's been an adult for probably like 6 months in Showtime now, but they still, Maggie Gyllenhaal, I think, or Gyllenhaal, plays her like a kid still, like basically like this Freaky Friday scenario where everything's so neat and this is so cool and I just want you to be nice to me, Mr. Penguin, and all that kind of stuff.
But 6 months, and how much of an adult really is she? She's playing like a 23-year-old.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all. You're barely an adult.
But I just think it's cool that there's still, you can totally see a kid there.
And you can totally see Claire Foley.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she must have watched the few scenes that we got with Claire, really, over and over, because she still has the mannerisms.
That's in it. Cost Commotion brings up in the chat room. Did you realize that Ivy doesn't call him Oswald? She only calls him Penguin.
Well, that would be how she knew him.
I get. Did Ivy know Penguin back in the day before she got aged?
Not necessarily. Maybe
she probably knew of him, but I don't know if they had any interactions.
And that might be why she calls him Penguin instead of Oswald.
So she's like fangirling out a little bit.
She might be fangirling out that she got to bring back Penguin.
Nice. Okay.
Plants.
Well, I didn't have any. I mean, I had some pretty big points in this week's episode. I didn't have any more really big, fully formulated ones, so we're just going to leave it with some quibbles and bits from me. Okay, first of all, never eat a cannoli around Penguin. It's a death sentence.
However, I'll take a cannoli anytime.
Jim drank a lot in this episode, didn't he? Uncle Frank gave him a drink. Harvey gave him a drink. Great to see Mary James and Judge Bam Bam back in positions of power.
Judge Bam Bam!
We haven't had a Judge Bam Bam reference in, at least 2 episodes. Yeah. 2 to 20 episodes, somewhere in there. So great to see them back. And hopefully we'll get Richard Kind back at some point too, playing Mayor James.
Bing bong, bing bong.
Always a lot of fun. And I also loved how Ivy got busted monologuing like a classic comic book villain. Yeah, don't trust Ivy. That's right. And then, someone comes up and taps her on the shoulder. Yeah.
And she's just like, stands up and goes.
And Wynn says those cannoli will be the real fall of Gotham. Maybe that's the weapon.
Maybe that is the weapon.
It's a pink box of cannolis. That's the weapon that's going to bring down Gotham.
Oh, I want a cannoli.
It's going to be amazing.
Holy cannoli.
Okay, well, to wrap us up here, you wanted to talk a little bit about Barbara Queen, right?
Barbara Queen, yes. I love the.
So is that going to be her name?
No.
But is it going to be her name?
No.
Are you sure? Is it going to be her name?
Oh my God.
Or I'm just saying, are people going to call her Barbara Queen instead of Barbara King?
Till she says something else funny, yes.
What do you think it'll be?
Please stop.
Okay.
I can't focus on reading. Let's see.
Just real quick, do you think other people are going to call Barbara Queen instead of Stabby Babs?
Someone help me, please. No, I will always call her Stabby Babs, though Barbara Queen is fun. I love the tiny glimpse of Babs ruling Gotham that we get. Tabs and her are a terrifying duo, but that talent is going to be after them now that he took out all of their henchmen. Mm-hmm. I do wonder what Jim and Harvey had to promise Babs to get her to help them, because she ain't doing nothing for free.
Yeah.
Nothing. And she was way too pleasant and happy about whatever she did. Mm-hmm. Bonus, I would like to see a Babs and Fish cat fight.
Definitely, I could see that.
They always use that warehouse. Like, that's the only warehouse
Casa
in Gotham.
Commotion brings up that they use the same warehouse. Yeah, that's one of their big sets. Like,
that's one they own.
Well, I don't know if they own it, but it's like the
rent.
diner that it pops up every few episodes as something else.
Yeah,
for sure.
This one they just turn the camera.
What I really thought was interesting though was that, I mean, I don't think we got a real sense of how much Jim told her about the situation, but obviously Barbara Queen knows about the Court of Owls because she's pressing that guy. She's like, I just need more information on them because I want to deal with them.
Well, Jim had to tell her all that. Probably he had to tell her what to say to get what she could say, what she couldn't say, what information they were looking for.
Yeah.
Like, she had to have background.
But I also have a feeling that she was like, okay, these people are powerful within Gotham, so I want to...
Well, she said she wanted to meet them.
Yeah. So I want to be one of them, or probably conquer them more likely. I would imagine.
That'll never happen, Bob.
The Falcon's not running things anymore. Okay, so I guess that about does it for our main discussion. Now it's time for the arbitrary scale
that we didn't even mention, but it's so perfect.
Yeah. So as always, to rate these episodes, we could do an A, B, C, D rating. We could do 10%, 20%, something
mediocre.
Expected. Instead, I pick a number. I pick a random thing from the episode, and we rate it based on that random thing, random number. This week, Anne-Marie, out of 37 acquaintances suddenly appearing in cemeteries, how many acquaintances suddenly appearing in cemeteries do you give this episode? And you can feel free to weigh in the chat room, too.
32 and a hat.
32 and a half?
Hat.
In a hat. Why?
They left their hat.
Oh, okay. Suddenly, it appears.
Suddenly, it disappears.
But it's a hat you're well acquainted with.
I am very well acquainted with the hat. So, it was good. And like I said, there was lots of answers, lots of questions, though. Maybe I wanted some more Enigma. Maybe I wanted some more Barbara Queen.
Yeah,
maybe
there was
I
zero
just really
Enigma.
would like Fish to make her stinking reappearance because it's been, 14 episodes or something absurd. Like, stop teasing me. Bring back Jada because Jada made it okay.
Nice. The Powell family over in the chat room says Nigma already knew about the court and told Babs, I think. Good point. Also gives it 36 acquaintances suddenly appearing in cemeteries and a cell phone call. Let's see. Wing gives it 33 acquaintances suddenly appearing in cemeteries. Sure. Let's see. As for me...
Yeah, as for you.
I'm going to give it a little bit lower. I'm going to give it like a 31 acquaintances suddenly appearing in cemeteries. Just because I really liked it. Like it did feel very big, very packed. At times I thought that was a little bit of a detriment because I feel like stories would have been better served if they had been given more focus, particularly the Uncle Frank and Jim.
Yeah, I think that's actually the one that has suffered.
Like which is weird because maybe it's because Ben McKenzie was directing, so he didn't put as much attention on that because he was focused on the thing as a whole.
Yeah, also really hard to direct yourself.
Yeah, and I thought the Bruce training stuff could have been fleshed out a little bit more.
But it's not over.
But then again, by the same token, the plot line that robbed time from both of those, the Penguin Ivy thing, I really loved
had to
too.
Be there, right?
I just thought it was a little bit unbalanced, is all, but I still really liked it.
Over in the chat room, Bobby Hawk gives it 33 acquaintances. Casa Commotion gives it 30. Lone Wolf Pack is going for 30. And Casa Commotion also says, after last week, this was a little bit of a letdown.
Well, last week was pretty, in your face.
It was pretty in your face, and also we had a 3-month Gotham drought, so I think really they could have just wrote Gotham and played the music and made people dance across the screen, and we might have been okay with it.
They could have used our toys like we did for the Sweetheart giveaway.
That's true. That's very true.
Definitely. Okay, so I guess that about wraps it up. Casa Commotion says we need more hashtag Ivy Quinn for sure.
I'm going with Pivy.
Pivy?
Penguin and Ivy. Pivy.
No. Poison.
Okay, so.
Hashtag Poison Penguin. There. That's mine. Poison Penguin. I like it.
Poison Penguin.
Okay, so I guess that about does it for a discussion. Now, on to the news. News. First up, the ratings. Gotham got a 1.0 out of 4, a 2.92. So pretty good.
No. No, actually, the overall for...
I thought that was higher than last week because I thought last week was under a 1. I thought it was like a 0.8 or a 0.9.
I think it was actually a 1 once it adjusted up. I forget off the top of my head. But it was... Monday was really bad for, like, all TV.
Anecdotally, I did see a lot of people, contact us on Twitter, on Facebook and stuff this week saying, I wasn't even aware that Gotham was back.
Oh, Fox, come on.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people weren't aware that there was going to be a new episode, missed it last week, and are starting to get caught up now.
Do you think that people thought that the January stuff was like the season finale? Because it was really amazing.
Yeah, and it was very season finale-esque, too.
It was very season. So maybe they just thought it was only a half season this year. They're going to be sorely disappointed when they come back in September. Pengyplants! That's right, Pengyplants!
Pengyplants.
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 It is all Pengyplants.
I like Pengyplants. Okay, we're going to take a look at the trailer for next week. This episode is going to be called The Primal Riddle.
At least it's not a sentence.
Hold on 1 second. There we go. Okay, so I'll start this over. Okay, so let's see here. We get some snow, some more Bruce being Bruce.
So maybe he is actually in the
some
mountains.
Mr. Freeze.
That's right. The freaks start coming out.
Yeah, and
the freaks come out.
Ed being very over-the-top villain-esque. I saw Firefly there. Yeah, an army of freaks. I'm pumped about
Babs?
it. Yeah, Babs and Tabby and Ed. Then some Court of Owls stuff, and then Ed
yelling.
On the TV news, punching the camera. Love it. It looks really super duper awesome. Like as much as we were excited to finish the episode last night, or excited after seeing the episode, we were like, that trailer, man.
The trailer.
That trailer's going places.
Bringing back the freaks.
To next week. Next Monday night is when it's going to be on. When it's done, however, you hear the primal riddle, you let out a primal voicemail to Legends of Gotham to let us know how you feel. You literally have to run to any communications device you have in your house. And we have so many ways to contact us that any communications device should work. Our fax number is... Our telegraph assignment name is... Pennsylvania 65000. Our email is legendsofgotham@gmail.com. Our Twitter's @legendsofgotham. The Facebook is facebook.com/groups/legendsofgotham. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. And as usual, we have a voicemail from Bobby. Take it away, Bobby!
Hey guys, it's Bobby.
Hey!
Alright, so Penguin's awake and he's definitely upset. I don't quite understand why Ivy rescued him from the water. I do like the dynamic between them, and I like the characterization of Ivy in this show. With the origin they've given her, so she's more or less still a teenager, and with all the powers she has, she can get pretty much anything she wants. So it's like she's like a little spoiled little teenage girl, and trust me, I have my fair share dealing with that, unfortunately. It was really cool to see Gabe back. I love Gabe. I've always loved Gabe.
You will not see Gabe
and
anymore.
This episode gave him quite a bit to work with, which made the outcome even more sad. I definitely understand where he was coming from. He definitely had some valid points as to why he wasn't necessarily loyal to Penguin. But I still was hoping they could bury the hatchet. But unfortunately, it seems that Penguin instead decided to bury the spade in Gabe's chest.
I was really hoping you'd go there.
Then, of course, we've got Bruce in... so he's abducted by the Court of Owls. This guy looks like he's working for the League of Assassins or whatever it is, because I know Ra's al Ghul's supposed to be coming in this season, or this last part of the season. So I'm kind of confused as to, it seems like it almost seems as if he's trying to train Bruce to become Batman, the protector of Gotham. So why, I don't know, I'm kind of confused if he's working with the court, but he says the court's just a tool, so is the court working for him? I don't know. All of that's a bit confusing still.
I think it's meant to be at this point.
And then what's not so confusing is Uncle Frank is apparently God, I'm so tongue-tied tonight. I think we see where Uncle Frank's loyalties lie.
I'm going to guess that Uncle Frank is more tongue-tied than you.
He definitely was trying to take down the Court of Owls from the inside. I don't know. I thought he'd stick around a few more episodes. I did not expect him to go out as quickly as he did. And neither did Jim either. He seemed pretty surprised by that whole turn of events there. But yeah, all in all, I thought tonight was a pretty decent episode. We've seen better. I mean, it wasn't even a real villain in the episode. It was cool to see Bruce start his training. It was cool to see, a little light detective work from Bullock and Gordon. Out of 12 cannolis, I'll give it 8. 8 out of 12 cannolis.
Give me the cannoli.
Leave the cannoli. Leave the cannoli.
No, drop the gun. Take the cannoli.
Thank you very much, Bobby. Let's see. We have a couple more pieces of feedback here. First up from Jason Wiley. Jason says over on our Facebook, I think you guys need to coin a new ship name for Ivy and Penguin. What an odd yet entertaining partnership that was a delight to watch. Also, Ben did a masterful job at directing this episode, and we need to see more of his directing on the show or even in general. The episode just had a different tone and felt fresh. Loving the emphasis on Protector spoken by the monk.
Yeah, well, telling Bruce's mission.
Yeah, the whole speech by the monk.
Yeah.
Those seeds were very welcome to know what will become the symbol of fear in Gotham. Hashtag Pivy, hashtag Pengy, hashtag Igwin, hashtag
Willow
Waddles, hashtag Penguin planting penguins. That
Pengy
sounds
plants.
Pengyplants for sure. Although planting penguins sounds like an indie band, doesn't it?
The planting penguins, baby.
Yeah, have you ever heard of my name, Planting Penguins? It's pretty awesome.
It's awesome.
And then this last one, I think you took the name off.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Hi, I'm Idolus. Sorry, if I'm butchering it. And I'm a really big fan of Gotham. Last night's episode was so good. I need more. And Bruce had me shook. He's my favorite character. Can't wait to see more of him next Monday.
Thank you very much, Idolus. And, after you get done watching the Primal Riddle next week, we want to hear what you think, too. So what you need to do, you need to pull out a pen and paper. You need to write us a letter. You need to attach it to a carrier pigeon. Then tell that carrier pigeon to transcribe the note and email a carrier owl. And you need to tell that carrier owl to transcribe the note and email it to us, legendsofgotham@gmail.com. Tweet us at Legends of Gotham. The Facebook is facebook.com/groups/Legends of Gotham. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. Now, Anne-Marie, where can people find you online?
You can find me on the Twitters at DeSimone.
As for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Bill Meeks. You can follow all of the stuff we do at universebox.com. And you can follow me around all week and then land here next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. EST because at twitch.tv/universebox, we'll be talking more Gotham with our lovely chatters. Thank you all who came and showed up tonight.
You're tongue-tied now that Bobby was tongue-tied. Stop sharing a brain.
But no, thank you very much to everyone in the chat room. There's been a lot of people in and out, a lot of people chiming in, chiming out, all that stuff. You guys know who you are. You're awesome. You're the best. So I guess that about does it for this week. Join us next time for more Legends of Gotham. I'm not tongue-tied. You fool. But I might be a little bit. It's okay. Cannoli. Bye, Uncle Frank. But is her name Barbara Queen now? Or is it Barbara
I was really
Barbara
hoping
Keene?
with it being the end, you would stop.
I just really want to know what her name is. Is it Barbara Keene or Barbara Queen? That's all.
I guess we won't know until her next appearance.
Okay, guys, stick around for just a second. We want to
Help us pick the name. There's like 27 names here.
Yeah, okay, so let's see here. Here is the list. We have 3 Freaking Freaks, Pinecone Juice, Batman Begins, The Opposite of Fear, Let's Be Frank, Crime Alley Redux, Mind Palace, Too Many Bodies in the Garden, Poison Penguin, and Pengyplants.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
What are you voting for, Anne-Marie? I think I know what...
Pengyplants is what I'm voting for. Pengyplants is what I'm voting for.
Yeah, I think my vote is Pengyplants too, and then I see a few more one more Pengyplants in the chat room, so we'll let a couple more people weigh in, but it's probably going to be Pengyplants. Another Pengyplants. Pengyplants going once, Pengyplants. Yeah, I think we have our title, folks. So, how do we stop this? Can we stop it? We're stuck in here forever.
Let me out. Hello.
We need out. Somebody.
I need a cannoli. I need a cannoli.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna pull in that Enigma.
Oh, don't hit the thing. What the?